In compliance with Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, entitled Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as specified in the Act. Proper notice of this public meeting was provided in the notice of January 8, 2018. Said notice was posted at the entrance of the Board of Education offices, mailed to the Nutley Township Clerk, advertised in the Nutley Sun and Star Ledger on January 18, 2018, posted on the district website. This is an official meeting. Flag salute, please. Roll call, Mr. So. Here. 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 Can we have approval of the minutes, please? All in favor? Any correspondence this evening? Okay, so we're going to start off with our presentations. First presentation of the evening is going to be from the Nutley Educational Foundation. We'd like to bring up the president, Mrs. Lorraine Kaczynski.
Okay, I think I have it right. Dr. Glazer, President Carnicella, Board of Education, thank you for the opportunity to present the 2018 Nutley Educational Foundation Awards. NEF is a 501c3 organization helping to provide our children with educational equipment and programs that actually go beyond the school budget. Over the past several years, we have been able to fund an outdoor classroom, seed a fall play and robotics pilot program, provide new percussion instruments, a washer-dryer, build a greenhouse, and introduce our children from 4th to 8th grade to TREPS. TREPS is an entrepreneur program culminating in a town-wide marketplace, all done by our children. This year, we are proud to announce that through donations, NEF will be funding new drama equipment, an art kiln, a wellness event, Lego robotics, and coding with B-bots, bringing our grand total of extra help to the teachers and children of the school district over the past few years to more than $38,000. We are very grateful for the generosity of our donors, but we are lightweights among the most successful educational foundations in the state. At the center of every great community is a strong school system. Every strong school system has a powerful education foundation to support that school, so every child is afforded the best education possible. We are striving to reach even higher goals, but we need to know what you need in programs, equipment, structural components, so that we can reach out to our donors who prefer to know where their dollars are going. If it's something that you have a passion for, it's easy to open up your pocketbook. So we want to be able to find those with the passion to help to support those things that the school budget just can't stretch to do. Award applications are due in March of each year. So we've got plenty of time for you to think about what your school, your classroom, your children need to fill out our online application, and then NEF will do the rest. Please help us to join the heavyweights so we can boast about what we already know. Nutley is the best, and we deserve the best. Before we take a group picture, and I'd like to invite all of the 2018 award winners up here. I'd like everyone to see you. Come on up, don't be bashful. These are your teachers, your administrators, those who need it, asked for something, and got it. We're very proud of all of them. We're going to ask all of you to hold it. I guess we're going to take the pictures first, so this way then you can get to sit down. I'd like to have the NEF members, and if any of the board members are here, to also come up. Excellent. Excellent. What I'd like to do right now is, if you're going to take more pictures, please take the pictures. And then I'd like to ask Blair Resemblick to come up and to speak about the Nutley Learning Tree, which is a part of the Nutley Educational Foundation. And she will explain to you what that's about.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Lorraine. First, we're going to have a little bit of audience participation. You came for a reason. How many of you in the audience actually have heard about the Nutley Learning Tree? Raise your hands. How many teachers in the audience have submitted a wish to the Nutley Learning Tree? Okay. How many people in the audience have actually donated to the Nutley Learning Tree? Looks like I have a lot of prospects in the audience. So the Nutley Learning Tree was launched in the spring of 2017 as a way to help teachers fund learning tools for their classrooms that range from $1 to $500. Teachers submit their wishes to the Nutley Learning Tree on the NEF website, and once approved by the superintendent of schools, the wishes are placed on the tree so that parents, grandparents, community members, businesses, friends of the Nutley Educational Foundation, and audience members tonight can help donate and fulfill a teacher's wish. Think of this as the Nutley School District's own donor's choice. Every donation, no matter how large or how small, is tax deductible. If you want to go onto the tree and donate $10 for a wish, you can donate $10. If you want to go on and fully fund a $500 wish, you can do that as well. Since the spring of 2017, 19 wishes have been approved and submitted to the Nutley Learning Tree, and of those, 11 wishes have been fully funded. I want to give everybody a round of applause for that. So if anyone has any questions about the Nutley Learning Tree, you can email me directly at bresemblich@nutley-educational-foundation.org, find me on Facebook, or you can go to the NEF website. We really look forward to working with the Nutley teachers to fulfill wishes for additional educational tools in the classroom. Thank you.
Okay, now to the fun stuff. So the Nutley Educational Foundation will be hosting our second annual Sip, Savor, and Support Educational Celebration. It will take place this Thursday evening, June 21st. It will be at the Nutley Museum from 6:30 to 9:30. The evening will include food sampling, wine tasting, and the sounds of our very talented Nutley High School Jazz Band. They're fantastic. We'll also be celebrating the awards that you just heard tonight, and there'll be a mix and mingling with the awardees. We do hope that you can join us, and we'd like to cordially invite you. Tickets are $25 per person, and information can be found on our NEF website or our Facebook page, and we really hope that some of you can join us that night to help us celebrate. Thank you.
just have a picture with the NEF members and us giving the check to the Board of Education. So if our check is still here, which it is, and Dr. Blazer, if you would step down. Mrs. Lorraine Restell, principal of Lincoln School, Mrs. Lori LaGuardia, principal of Spring Garden School, and Dr. Marianne Woods Murphy, our teacher, who works with our gifted and talented students as well as our enrichment and enhancements district-wide.
Hi everybody, we're so excited to be here today. I'm going to talk with you first about Lawfare. Lawfare is an activity that challenges our students to think critically and consider all sides of the story. We have Lawfares in every elementary school here in Nutley that are led by Lawfare coaches. Each group of students, they begin by starting out learning the difference between a civil and a criminal case. And they work with their advisors to craft an original case. Think mock trial, right? But on the 4th grade level. Collaborative technology has really helped us a great deal. Google Classroom allows the students to work individually and in collaboration with their peers to co-write exciting material that they can do 24/7. They can work with their advisor at school, but then they can go home as well to work on their cases. They really take a great deal of ownership of the process. The most exciting thing that we have here for you today is that the New Jersey State Bar Foundation encourages students all over our state to submit cases. And this year, Nutley has won a first place award in all of New Jersey. And an honorable mention award, 2 highly coveted awards for Lawfare. When you think about all of the wonderful students all over the state and in our own district, all of them diligently creating cases, it's so exciting to have our students get this honor. So we're going to start with Lincoln School. Our principal, of course, Ms. Restell, and Lawfare advisors, Michelle Lanfranc and Chris Marie Madura. They're going to talk with us a bit about their case.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Christopher Maturo, and this is my colleague, Michelle Lanfranc. Our case, Neely Neal, was about a senior basketball star named Neil Downs, who was offered a $30,000 yearly scholarship from his dream school, the University of South Carolina, as well as a guaranteed spot as a starter depending on his performance at their championship basketball game. Neil felt very strongly about kneeling during the national anthem due to his family's feelings on the current issues that have transpired within our country. With the direction from his parents, he decided to kneel during the national anthem at their championship game, even though his coaches said they would be following the school district's policy and standing as a sign of respect. They warned the team that any players who did not follow the school rules would not receive playtime.
As a result, Neil was benched the entire game. USC scouts were anxiously waiting for the game of a lifetime from Neil, and it wasn't until after an outstanding game that Neil was supposed to accept the offer. However, due to his lack of playtime during the game, they rescinded their offer, and Neil and his family are suing the school district for the missed opportunity and a $30,000 a year scholarship due to the violation of his freedom of speech and his right to peacefully protest. I just want to take a minute to explain the process of how this idea is submitted. The children come in with ideas of their own, and we pick one that we feel would be a good fit. They come up with the entire case, they help us to write the entire script, and then they practice it every single week from October to May. This whole process takes. So it requires a lot of dedication and a lot of commitment from fourth grade students. They give up their lunchtime, sunny days out on the playground. So I just want to congratulate them for all their dedication and effort that they put in, because they really deserve it and they do a great job.
Thank you. Yes, those are our student members for Lincoln School.
Spring Garden School, with our principal, Mrs. Gloria LaGuardia, and law fair advisor, Miss Debbie Teen. We're thrilled to create the case of the same book, and I'll pass the mic to my colleague here.
The case of the same book. Gun versus rockets. Provocative name. Imagine if you wrote a story and a few weeks or months later, someone else claimed to have written one that sounded very much like yours. What would you do? How would you feel? That's the premise of our case. Our plaintiff, Vinnie Gunn, believed a book he wrote was sold in his local bookstore, but the title and the author's name was not his. He believed the defendant read his manuscript and converted it for his own use. He sued under the intentional tort and was seeking the $20,000, which was the amount the defendant had earned from the sale of his book. The defendant, Johnny Rockets, intended to prove through evidence that the book he published was his own original idea. In fact, it was something he and his friend, which was his editor, had been working on for quite a while. He was seeking an apology, and of course he wanted to keep the $20,000. The students also wrote testimonies for 2 additional witnesses, hoping that what they said would help tip the scales. They had fun creating a persona for each character, and it included using unusual names. For instance, the supporting witness, one of them was named Susie Booker, and another was Ed DeTore. Can you guess? It was the editor. And during the dress rehearsal, we had a judge that was named the Honorable Maggie Zine. Our lawyers asked relevant questions and intended to create doubt in the minds of the jurors during cross-examinations. just like real lawyers do. We wanted the jurors to think critically and evaluate all of the evidence before making their decisions, just like jurors do in the courtroom. Besides developing writing skills and learning about civil law, students had to collaborate, negotiate, use the computers using Google Classroom, and I got to watch them blossom into wonderful actors. After performing at the Law Center, I had 2 students that come up to me separately as we were getting ready to board the bus coming back to Nutley, and they asked if we could continue. They wanted to develop another case. After all, we had another month of school. I am honored that our club is being acknowledged tonight, and I want to thank you and the board. I want to also thank the 4th grade students that worked with me, that participated in the program. Most gave up their lunch recess, like the other group, once, sometimes twice a week, from October to May 23rd, when we actually performed at the Law Center. I also want to thank Mrs. LaGuardia and the 4th grade teachers that supported this program the entire school year. So thank you.
This is such a happy time of year.
Awesome. So congratulations to our Nutley Welfare students and their advisors. I am also very excited to recognize our Nutley JV math team. Every single elementary school in Nutley has a good night, children. Has a math club led by a math coach. It's vibrant, the coaches are talented, students really flock to these clubs to do brain teasers and play Challenge 24. They're so excited, they crowd into the teachers' classrooms at lunchtime to get the opportunity to do more math. It is so exciting. In Radcliffe, if any of these folks are here, you can stand up. If not, we'll just honor them in absentia. In Radcliffe, we have Mr. Chris Weinstein, Lincoln, Ms. Dana Cafasso. Dana couldn't come tonight, but she is the advisor of somebody who's here tonight to take a special honor. Washington School, Miss Samantha Greenfield. Spring Garden, Ms. Sarah Droppy. And at Yantapaw, Mr. Jeff Martin. Working really hard with me because this Wednesday, all of the children in all of the elementary schools who are participants in Math Club will come together at Spring Garden School for a competition. Only about 100 children who are having fun doing math one morning. This is the game that they love so much, Challenge 24. The way it works is they have to figure out how these 4 numbers are related to equal 24. So they have to do a series of operations. Every year, the Essex County Gifted and Talented Committee Milburn. And I have to say, I've been here 5 years. Children in Nutley have been going to this competition for many years. But the first year we went, it was a little bit intimidating because those children were very quick figuring out their operations. They have to tap the card and say how things. Where's Nick DeRosa? Come here, Nick.
Okay, so for this problem, to get 24, you have to do 6 times 2 equals 18. 8 minus 2 equals 6. 18 plus 6 equals 24.
The first time you go, you may not realize how fast you have to be. And first year, our Nutley students were like, whoa. And then they all practiced, and we won first place, and it was so, so wonderful. Harrison Frazier, Ryan McNamara, Nicholas DeRosa, Victoria Rudish, Jake LaMonaco, please stand if you're here, Grace Christie, Soham Goswami, Haley Choi, Lena Fukata Schreiber, and Joseph Palomini. And here we are arriving in Milburn, and we're very excited by that time, and this is the way it goes. Now, I want you to see, if possible, here. Okay, this is when, sorry. I really want you to hear it, if possible. So here's Dana, Nicholas, and Victoria. They're so excited. And right beside me I have Ryan. Are there any other math club students who if you are here, come forward. Were there students? Did you say there were? No? Okay, so this is our board recognition. Nicholas DeRosa, JV Nutley Math Team, and the Nutley Math Coaches.
I was pretty scared, but eventually it kind of got a lot less pressure. In the beginning it was not a lot of pressure, but then really at the end I was a little nervous that I wasn't going to win. Thank you, Duncan. Having a bunch of other kids be really, really good like Nick was definitely a bit intimidating, but like as it progressed, it was better.
Let's give them a big round of applause. And that's our whole Nutley team. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
moving on in our program, thank you. This is my favorite night to be here at a board meeting because we do honor so many students and so many staff members. And what's coming up first tonight from the staff member side is honoring our district retirees. This year, 17 individuals are retiring from the Nutley Public Schools. Some of them are with us tonight. Collectively, I want you to hold your breath when I say this. Collectively, these staff members have worked in the district for more than 400 years. 400 years. But it didn't seem like that long to you, did it? So I, along with the Board of Education and District Administration, would just like the opportunity tonight to say thank you. Thank you for your dedication to our students, to our schools. Thank you for becoming such a big part of the Nutley community. And thank you for your tireless efforts and dedication to educate our children. Each one of you have led by example. When I call your name, please come up to the podium. I'm going to ask you to stay up here and stay standing if you can until all of the names are called. We do have, Danny has the certificate, so head that way and then we'll get a photo up. So first up tonight, and I'm going to announce everybody, hopefully they're here. We'll give it a minute for people to come down. If not, I'm going to just keep moving up. But first up tonight, we have Mr. Robert Odell, Bob. Bob is our supervisor, our coordinator of social studies. He's been leading the Administrators Association as well. Bob has been in the district for 36 years, 37 years. So I wonder if everybody's a year off, but 37 years. And Bob, just thank you. You have made such a difference to me in the short time that I've been here. I can't imagine what you've accomplished in 37 years. So thank you so much. Next, we have Mr. Dennis DiLorenzo. Is Dennis with us tonight? No? Dennis is a member of our maintenance crew. He's also been in the district for 22 years. So please, even though he's not here, a round of applause honoring Dennis. Mrs. Ritacco, Linda Ritacco, you here? I see you. No? Mrs. Ritacco has been an office aide at Yannicott School. She's been with us for 13 years. We also wish her well. I'm looking around to see everybody. I don't see everybody. Linda Imperiale, you're here? Yeah, you're somebody. So Mrs. Imperiale has been a high school special education paraprofessional for 21 years here in the district. And I was lucky enough to meet some of your 25. See, they're all not correct. So you just keep correcting me all night. But we were lucky enough to meet some of your former students, and I hope that you feel very honored by the career that you've had in Nutley. Congratulations. Next, we have Dr. Catherine Mitchell, high school counselor. Dr. Mitchell, and correct me if this is wrong, but it's overwhelming just as it is. Dr. Mitchell has been in the district for 44 years. 45 years. I'm just going to start adding a year. And I'm going to say yours and look 45 years old. So how can that be? And I have so enjoyed getting to know you and sharing books with you, and I hope that after you're down the shore, wherever you're going, you keep sending me books, because I need that. Congratulations. Mrs. Mary Politzos here tonight. Another fabulous Yannicott school teacher, grade 4. So I'm just going to add year if it's wrong for like me. 32 years? Yeah, there you go. 32 years. Congratulations. That's an incredible accomplishment. Where's Pam? Pam Mitchell? Pam's also been at Yanakaw for 32 years. Just add that year. See, you were 31. It was right. For 31 years. Mrs. Mitchell was actually on the search committee when I was hired. And I have to say, every time I see you anywhere in town or around the district, you still give me that smile. So I appreciate that. I'll be looking for that friendly face, even when I don't see you at Yanakaw. Marita Dow. Mrs. Dow? Congratulations. Ms. Dow has been a PE teacher, 34 and 35. See, I had to add a year. Oh, there you go. 1 year in Spring Garden, 35 years in the district, a PE teacher. Also, 34 at Yanakaw. Congratulations. Is Walter King here? Is Mr. King here? Oh, no. Lots of tears there. So I guess not. Mr. King is an English teacher here at the middle school. He's been here for 18 or 19 years. I'm not sure. But clearly he's made an impact on a number of students in the district. So congratulations to Mr. King. Is Mrs. LaPierre here? Diane? There you go. 23 or 24? Or 25. See, not even close. So Mrs. LaPierre has been an English teacher at Nutley High School for 25, oh, they haven't even in English, and a science teacher. See, we got it all wrong, right when you're going. And I'm just going to say, 25 years anywhere, don't judge us. I've only been here too. Congratulations. So, is Laura Love here? Yes. Oh, see, you just called up Diane Love here. No wonder I'm so confused. I'm so confused. So, Laura, 25 years, science. Congratulations. See, that's what I was going to say. Well, we're still excited and honored for you. Don't be sorry. We're excited, Laura. Congratulations. Antonio here? Marianne? Oh, unfortunately, she wasn't able to be with us tonight. She's been social studies at Nutley High School for 25 years. And she is leaving us for the beautiful state of Hawaii. So extra applause for her. Is Mr. McPartland here tonight? Teacher here in the district, 20 years here in Nutley?
No, 22.
22 in Nutley and 33 altogether. Congratulations. Claire, Mrs. Menza? She's not here tonight. Mrs. Claire Menza, grade 4, Spring Garden. I'm assuming 25 years is correct for Claire. So, congratulations. This one I know is here. Do you want us to take a picture for you? Ms. Chris Osage. Technology coach and instructor and tech and photographer, and I don't even know what else to say. 17 years. Chris, thank you for all the different ways you've gotten involved in all the different organizations. And Chris isn't going anywhere. We still have Let's Learn this summer and boosters. So congratulations. But is Josephine here tonight? Josephine Meleza? Josephine come tonight, Karen? Okay. So Josephine retired in the winter Winter is Executive Secretary in the business office after 25 years. She's probably on a cruise somewhere by now. So congratulations to Josephine. Antoinette Lou, is she with us tonight? Miss Lou? No? Also a special education para Washington School for 13 years, we assume. So congratulations to her as well. And to all of our retirees. Please stay, we're going to take a picture. So before you sit down, I believe some of our board members have some things to say, is that correct? Yes? So just kind of, I know you're turning your back to the audience, which we never do in theater, but try and face the board. I don't know who has things to say, but I do know several board members wanted to make comments. Lisa?
Might as well start. Congratulations on your retirement. You made a difference in the lives of so many students and families, especially mine. My children have many of you, and they've had a wonderful experience. Thank you, and I appreciate your devotion and all of your hard work throughout the years. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.
I also want to echo what Lisa said. I do want to congratulate you all on your work in the district and thank you for your dedicated years of service. I also just had a little personal thank you to Mr. Odell. I had the pleasure of taking Mr. Odell's ancient history course many years ago. I won't say how many years ago. Yeah, a little bit ancient. Not only did I learn a lot about ancient history, but Mr. Odell always made our class fun. He was always willing to help a student grasp content they didn't readily understand, and you genuinely cared that your students left your class well-informed and prepared for the future. Thank you for your 37 years of service to this school, and more importantly, the students whose educational foundation was enhanced by your teaching. Thank you, Mr. Odell.
Again, on behalf of the Board of Education, I certainly want to congratulate you. I was, in my past life as a board member before, hired some of the teachers that are here, and some of the people that are with us. And I'm glad it worked out for the Nutley School District. I'm glad it worked out for you. Enjoy your retirement. God bless you.
So I want to say good luck in all your future endeavors. Enjoy retirement. When I was the fire chief here, I visited most of the schools and most of you through the Fire Prevention Week. And, Mr. Mitchell was my son's counselor, did a great job getting into the college he's in, so I have to give her credit. Mr. Donald Lynn, there's people, up and down, but this was a real family. It's treated as a family here in Nutley. We're sad to see you go. We hope you enjoy it.
Well, one last one is for me. Thank you all for your service. There's definitely familiar faces here amongst when I was in this school, went into high school, and I wasn't here my whole life, but my high school years, there's definitely some familiar faces. Hopefully, you can all combine for another 400 years in retirement. Enjoy, be well, and enjoy.
There you go. So it's really hard. You're excited for everybody, but you don't really want to see them go. That's the hardest part. But we always choose so much success in your next chapter. And now, I'm going to call up by school our Governor's Educators of the Year for the 2017-2018 school year. These teachers that we're recognizing tonight and these service professionals that we're recognizing tonight have been nominated by their principals and have been recognized by the state with the Governor's Educator of the Year honor. It's a pretty big deal. The New Jersey Teacher of the Year program and the Governor's Teacher Educational Service Professionals Recognition Program got integrated this year into what was the Governor's Educator of the Year program, my goodness, to honor our staff this year. The updated program spends some time highlighting educational innovation, student achievement, the rewards of teaching, as well as important services outside of the classroom environment, all things that lead to student success. So again, I'm going to call you up by school with your principal. If you would please just come forward. You're going to receive your certificate when I call your name, but we're going to take the photos by building. So please wait up here and your families can run up the aisle and take pictures of you too. So we're going to start, Danny, can I hand these to you please? Thank you. We're going to start with Lincoln School. So Mrs. Ristel, please join your teacher, Jamie Grella, and the instructional aide, Maureen Powell. By school, do we see Karen? Oh, sorry, I lost you. All right, from Radcliffe School, if Mr. Carney could come down, and we'd like Mr. Carney to be joined by Mrs. Maria Stromolo, our teacher, and by Laura Capalvo, instructional aide. From Spring Garden School, Mrs. LaGuardia, it's easy to come down for you. Mrs. Dingwell, kindergarten teacher. And Mrs. Heather Harris, school psychologist. From Washington School, Principal Mr. Douglas Jones. Then we have Teacher Nicole Boyd. And our very own nurse, Mrs. Virginia Riley. And Jimmy will get your retirement next year. We'll bring you back. Next up, from Yantakwa School, I'm not sure Frank is here. Frank Francia, the principal. Sorry, I just didn't see you. Blended in. And our teacher, Ms. Tara Pate. And speech therapist, Ms. Michelle Bonita. Now, from the John H. Walker Middle School, Ms. Egan, Mr. Sullivan, come on down. All right, Laura, this is it. Ms. Laura Love is our teacher. And where's Christina? Christina Stendardi, media specialist. Congratulations. Of course, last but not least, Principal Dennis Williams, Vice Principals Mrs. Jackie DeVore, Mr. Joe Materia from Nutley High School. Give them a second to get going. All right, just Dennis. All right, so our teacher, oh, here's Joe, he's coming, see? Mr. Materia. Our teacher is math teacher, Ms. Jess Mabel. And Mrs. Lennon Perry-Alley, instructional player. Once again, all of our teachers and service professionals, thank you for your service to the Nutley Public Schools and our students. It is my honor to have worked with some of you and to continue to work with each of you. And teachers, if I don't see you, enjoy your summer. Mrs. Yemens has an award next. Well, we're going to continue with our theme of staff recognition just one more time this evening. The Suburban Essex Joint Insurance Fund is the group that the district belongs to for all of our liability insurance coverage. And they have a program every single year called the Safety Incentive Program. So we created a goal for in 2016 to begin participation in this program. And I appointed the manager of buildings and grounds, Mr. Phil Nicolette, who unfortunately could not be here this evening, and our assistant BA, Mr. John Mora, as the district's safety committee co-chairs. There are 7 areas whereby the district can earn points over the course of a year, and they include attendance at quarterly executive safety committee meetings, quarterly internal safety committee meetings that may include discussions on accidents and injuries and near misses, and the safety activities that are in place. Safety training for our members, facility and equipment inspections, job site observations, reviewing loss runs to identify if we have any areas of high frequency so that we can begin to address those areas to make things safer, and complete motor vehicle record checks for anyone who operates a district vehicle. I'd like to invite Mr. Mamora to come forward and to present him with the Gold Certificate of Achievement. We are very proud to say that we've been participating for 2 years, and both of those years we have received the highest honor. And in addition to the plaque, the district receives $1,500 award, which goes to reducing the cost of our liability insurance. Thank you, John, for all your hard work. Okay, all of our athletes who've been sitting here so patiently this evening, it's now your turn, and I'm going to turn things over to our athletic director, Mr. Joe Conroy.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Congratulations to all of our award winners and to our retirees. Mr. Odell, on a personal note, you'll surely be missed. You've done a great job both as a educator and a coach. And I wish you the best of luck. Okay, we're going to go through our end of season awards very quickly. What we're doing tonight is present our all conference certificates, and we do have one team to honor for winning a SEC American Division Championship. So, without any further ado, lists. Okay, representing the winter track team, Mr. James Quinn. Jimmy, come on up. Honorable mention in winter track, the American Division for winter track. Representing our wrestling team in the American Division, I believe second team, Mr. Joe D'Alessio. Representing our girls softball team, Miss Lorraine O'Connor. Also representing softball, Miss Brianna Cruz. Also representing softball, Miss Courtney Wild. Representing wrestling, Frank DeMeo. Representing our lacrosse program, Mr. Nick Angelo. And Mr. Dominic Quintella. Representing I have no basketball. Representing our spring track team, Miss Ellie McCreesh. Mr. Matt Dorham. Miss Anna Mantini. Miss Ava Tucker. Miss J.O. Small. Jimmy Quinn. Miss Danielle Loaf. And Miss Maisie Dillon. And girls, last but not least, girls basketball all-conference, Miss Amy Scheidel. Abby Scheidel. Miss Rebecca Granada. Miss Alana Feaster. Miss Lindsay Norton. And Miss Courtney Watt. Okay, well, once we get these guys up here, we'll take a picture. There you go.
Perfect.
We good? Fantastic. Okay, girls basketball players that are here, stay up. Stay up here. I think Miss Lamont are here. Miss Lamont, come on up. All of our girls basketball players, Coach Mitchell, come on up. All of our girls basketball players, Coach Mitchell, come on up. Hello, Mitchell. Those 4 or 5 spring track athletes that didn't get their certificates, we found them. So before you leave, come on up and grab them. Okay, this is the 2017-18 SEC Liberty Division champions. They will all be presented with this t-shirt. Hold that t-shirt up. And it's I believe our first division championship in girls basketball since we joined the SEC. Okay. I congratulate all of our award winners, those track folks. Come on up in that box, Charlie. Again, I congratulate everybody. I wish everybody a healthy and happy and restful summer.
And again, it's a privilege to be your athletic director, and I thank you for that privilege. Good night.
Okay, so next up, we're going to turn it over to our superintendent for a superintendent's report.
So, those of you that are left, welcome again to my favorite meeting, of the year. It really is so very wonderful to be able to celebrate so many students and staff members. I have to say, one person that is conspicuously absent tonight is Mr. Kelly, usually seen over by the video camera. So two of Mr. Kelly's students have been doing research for a documentary on the Rock and Roll Foundation, and they discovered that Steven Tyler, Aerosmith fame Steven Tyler, actually played at Nutley High School in 1966. They reached out to the management team for Steven Tyler. They did not believe the connection, and Mr. Kelly and the two students were invited tonight to Central Park to sit in the front row at the big gala where Steven Tyler is performing. And I understand, I got a text earlier, but it wasn't the picture I was looking for. I understand that they are going to be called up onto the stage by Steven Tyler.
Yep.
As Nutley and the students and Mr. Cal and Coach Cal are going to be honored. So they are also having a really fun night. We want to be able to celebrate that and honor them. Obviously, it's a really exciting time of the year. We have lots and lots of events. Tomorrow night, we start off with our Chromebook parent meeting at Nutley High School at 6:30 p.m. At 7:30 p.m. here in the middle school in the Media Center, we have our rescheduled safety and security focus area discussion. We rescheduled from Thursday for the Spring Festival on Franklin Avenue, and we hope by doing that we'll still have a number of people join us tomorrow night. Wednesday night, and that's at 7:30, that is a time change tomorrow night. Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, also here in the middle school media center, we have our last focus area meeting to discuss configuration and infrastructure. I want to make sure I thank everybody, all the staff, the parents, the community members that have come out for these discussions. Your engagement is critical not only to our success, but to the direction that the district goes in during the next 5 years. We're going to be taking all of the feedback, all of the input, and using that to develop our goals for our focus areas and our action steps. These will be presented at a Board of Education meeting this summer, and the implementation of the new 5-year strategic plan will begin in September. On Thursday, we have pre-K graduation at Spring Garden School. The morning session, the AM graduation, will be at 9:30 a.m., and the afternoon session graduation will be at 1 o'clock. Also on Thursday, as you already heard, we have our Nutley Educational Foundation fundraiser that's being held at the Nutley Historical Society. Tickets are on sale on the NEF website and online. I believe the lowest ticket price is $25, but feel free to support the organization, locator, and support the Nutley Public Schools. Kindergarten graduation exercises for Lincoln, Spring Garden, Washington, and Neonikaw will be Friday, June 22nd at 9 a.m. Radcliffe's program is going to take place at 10:45 a.m., so 2 different times depending on your school. The elementary school 6th grade graduation in all of the schools will take place on Monday, June 25th at 2 o'clock p.m. The middle school promotion ceremony is also Monday, June 25th. That's at 9 a.m., scheduled to be on the Oval, weather permitting. And then, of course, our Nutley High School students are going to graduate Tuesday, June 26th, 6 o'clock p.m. on the Oval, also weather permitting. And I'm hoping for a good forecast for everybody. With so many people in the schools and on the grounds, we did send out a safety and security reminder earlier today. Please note those protocols that we've had in place are not going away. And I know that for some of you it's frustrating, right? You know, why do I have to enter one designated door? Why won't you answer the door when we ring the bell and we bang on the door? Why won't any of the students or staff open another door for me? I think that we've gone through that in some detail. I understand that sometimes it's uncomfortable, or I understand sometimes it takes a few extra minutes, but this is where we are right now. Other things to please notice when you enter the schools: don't hold the door for others, right? When you're granted access, please, you just enter on your own. We are going to have numerous guests and visitors in all of the buildings. Don't be offended if somebody asks you for ID or who you're here to see or what event you're for. It's not personal. You need to be able to do that if we don't recognize you. It might take a few extra minutes to get access to the building or to sign in. Again, we appreciate your patience. Don't think that that's going to go back. All of our staff members should be visibly wearing their identification badges. If you have any question or concern, please don't hesitate to ask a staff member for help. If you're taking your children home after an event, please remember that they must be signed out by the protocol of the building. And again, I think you already know this, but I'll say it again. Parking at many of the schools is challenging. Please don't park on the street in any spot that you can find. Please park in the designated areas, or if possible, maybe consider carpooling with a neighbor or other family member, or even, imagine this when I say it, walking to help lessen traffic or congestion. As always, I'll end this part with, if you see something, say something, and truly thank you for your partnership in keeping our students and staff safe. Finally, we'll look forward to seeing everybody over the next week and celebrating all of the exciting milestones that your children have reached this year.
Thank you, Dr. Glazer. We're going to turn it over to our board administrator, Mrs. Karen Amos.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you've taken a glance at tonight's agenda, you will see numerous resolutions. Specifically in the finance area, I think we ended up with about 64, which is typical for this time of year, because we need to renew all of our educational software, equipment maintenance agreements, administrative programs that we use, such as Real-Time and ASOP, our policy service, financial software to run our payroll, personnel, and budget, as well as the purchase of those Chromebooks that Dr. Glazer referenced earlier this evening. In addition, the board is approving scholarships that are drawn on the high school scholarship accounts that are maintained by the district, and we would like to congratulate all of the recipients. There are a few resolutions regarding our food service operation, including the renewal of the food service management company. This is the last year that that contract can be renewed with Chartwell's, and in the beginning of 2019, we will be issuing a new RFP for the start of the 1920 school year. There are also resolutions to increase the capital and maintenance reserves. These resolutions must be approved by the board in June. They are done in anticipation of us having available funds to make those deposits, but we will not know what those actual numbers are until after our June 30th, 2018 audit is completed. The amounts, however, cannot be any greater than what we are approving this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amos. Okay, we are going over to our committee reports. Mr. Balsam, would you take academic, please?
Yes, Mr. President. The academic committee met on Wednesday, June 13th. Mrs. Consolo presented updates to the elementary student handbook, which now includes the code of conduct. This was a product of the last strategic plans configuration committee. Mr. Viewmeister presented a job description for the one-to-one help desk position that is on the agenda for approval tonight. Rather than replacing the tech position that had been open, Ian proposed repurposing the position to have a staff person who will provide support, diagnosis, inventory, and ordering repair of technology equipment, including desktop and laptop computers, tablets, and other portable devices printers, and associated peripherals. This person will also organize, triage, assign, and resolve technology work, order trouble tickets, and provide basic technical support. Dr. Glazer reported on the June 13th visit from the state's quality monitoring team. They reviewed the district's governance, finances, facilities, and the instructional program. We will receive a report from the state, and Dr. Glazer shared her pride in the team and gave special thanks for the preparation by Kent and Janine, Karen, and John. Dr. Glazer shared that the strategic plan meeting for safety and security, previously scheduled for June 14th, was rescheduled for tomorrow, June 19th. The meeting tomorrow will be at 7:30 p.m. upstairs, John Walker Middle School Media Center. On Wednesday, June 20th, the infrastructure and configuration focus area discussion will begin at 7, also upstairs in the Media Center. The committee also discussed the current re-registration for all students currently in grades 6 and 10. Mrs. Lopez-Solo and Mr. Bain reviewed field trip and professional development requests. And finally, Dr. Glazer reviewed personnel and legal updates, including in what had included in that was an introduction to new legislation that is unfortunately titled Pass the Trash. The new law requires us to do additional background checks on each candidate that works with children going back 20 years. The district has already implemented new procedures. The next meeting of the academic committee will be Wednesday, July 11th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Balsamo. Mr. Ferraro, would you take finance, please?
Yes, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met on June 12th. Mr. Dwyer and Mr. Beemeister reviewed the Chromebook purchase options which are on tonight's agenda for approval. Mr. Nicolette provided an update on the Washington School entrance. He updated the committee on summer projects, including conversion of the existing main office area at Washington School to instructional space, replacing the fence at Spring Garden School, cleaning the attic and basement space in several of our buildings, and repair of a heat pump at Yannick School. The committee reviewed proposals for architectural services. The Shaming provided an update on the status of the 2017 and 18 budget and the projected end-of-year financial status. The committee reviewed tonight's financial resolutions and the budgetary transfers. Dr. Glazer spoke about the QSAC visit that was taking place on the 13th of June and the technology department job description. Ms. Shaming reviewed additional costs to equip new buses that was approved last month for the 3-point seat belt in front and rear camera. The committee agreed to amend the purchase, which is on the agenda for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Ferraro. We're going to turn it over to Ms. Sherman for policy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Policy Committee met on June 13th. Brenda Sherman, Lisa Vanchek Martin, Sal Vittor Balsamo, Dr. Glazer, Campania, Janine Lopez-Solo, and Indy Meister attended. We also had a visit from Joe Dwyer, who shared with us an update on the Policy Committee on the Chromebook rollout for the academic year 18-19. He also reviewed with the Policy Committee possible changes to the current policy regarding the use of the Chromebook and other issues. The Policy Committee suggested he reach out to other districts to see how they would handle Chromebook use and propose language changes that will work in with our district for our July meeting. The Policy Committee also reviewed charter policies that have been reviewed, updated, passed, and what remained open to be reviewed. Campania suggested policies in the 4,000 and 5,000 series could be reviewed in July and August with administrators and principals, and the PC Committee, Policy Committee agreed to meet twice in July and August in order to get through the 4,000, 5,000 series so that policies affecting the new academic year would be in place. The Policy Committee also had the benefit of Janine Consolo's summary of the Strauss-Esme seminar series on the upcoming policies. This is an important seminar that's issued every year by Strauss-Esme, which is our vendor for reviewing policies in our district. She was able to attend this for us and shared with us the upcoming policies that will be affecting facilities, lead testing, security, vaping, tenure changes, family leave, just to name a few. The Policy Committee also reviewed the status of the Alert 215 policies, which were deemed complete. The Policy Committee reviewed, discussed, and decided to table the extended day policy for further revision and review. And the next meeting of the Policy Committee will be July 11th and 18th.
Thank you, Ms. Sherman. All right. We now come to the portion of our meeting where we allow members of the public to address the board. In this section, we allow questions or comments on only resolutions addressed in tonight's agenda. Our board regulation 601 allows 20 minutes for these communications. Each person shall be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask you to try to stay within the requirement. Speakers may speak more than once, only after others wishing to speak on a topic have been heard. All statements will be directed to me as the chairperson, and no one may address board members individually. Please be reminded that if your statement is too lengthy, abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or redundant, your participation may be terminated. Please remember to always state your name and address each and every time you address the board and sign in with Mrs. Capuzzi before you take the microphone. Will the first person wishing to speak please step forward? Seeing none. Mr. Balsamo, would you take academic resolutions, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I can move back to resolutions 1 through 8 as written.
Discussion? Roll call, Mrs. Capuzzi.
Yes. Mrs. Stanchek Martin? Yes. Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Ms. Russo? Yes. Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes. Mr. Kaczynski, would you take administration, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I move administration resolutions 1 through 3 as presented. Second.
Discussion? Roll call, Mrs. Capuzzi.
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Stanchek Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera? Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes. Okay, Mr. Ferraro, would you take finance resolutions 1 through 64?
Yes, Mr. President, I make a motion to move finance resolutions 1 through 64 through.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, Mrs. Capuzzi.
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Stanchek Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes, for 1 through 42, abstaining on 43, yes on 44 through 63.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes. Other personnel? Mr. Klein, would you take personnel, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I move personnel resolutions 1 through 7, which includes testimonials of all of our retirees that we heard from tonight.
Discussion? Roll call, Mrs. Capuzzi.
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Stanchek Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes. Ms. Sherman, would you take policy, please?
Mr. President, I move policy resolution 1.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, Mrs. Capuzzi.
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mrs. Stanchek Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Klein? Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes. In this section, we allow questions or comments on all school-related matters. Our regulation allows 30 minutes for these communications. Again, each person shall be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask you to try to stay within the requirement. As I stated earlier, all statements will be directed to me as a chairperson, and no one may address the board members individually. Please be reminded that if your statement is too lengthy, abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or redundant, your participation may be terminated. Please remember to always state your name and address each and every time you address the board, and sign in with Mrs. Capuzzi before you take the microphone. Will the first person wishing to be heard, please step up.
Now? Yes, okay. There's that much on 50 Ridge Road. I was unfortunately not able to make the June 4th meeting, and the information was presented on collapsing sports programs in the Nutley High School. And
Ms. Rosentlich, thank you for bringing this to the board, following the chain of command. I know we always talk about, going through the process, and I know that we had spoke a couple of times about this particularly. I will tell you that at this point, we're still going to continue to have some further discussions about the program itself. As you know, the board that evening also had plenty of questions to ask as well, just to understand, because as you know, it is not a decision that the board ultimately makes. It is an administrative call, but we want to have the same available information so that we can make sure that it is the appropriate thing to do. We want to trust our team, and so that's part of that process. So we definitely have to continue to fill in the blank with some of those questions that we have. Some of that data is part of that conversation. And as far as costs, any time I think you move around any programs, certain things change with regard to costs, whether you have a season that gets cut in half because you don't have enough teams to play, you don't have those umps, you don't have those referees, the bus time, so the budget does shrink. But ultimately, the numbers that we're talking about with the shrinkage in budget is not something that anybody on this board would consider something that was a must-have for purposes of fiscal responsibility, if I use the proper term. So we are definitely going to have some more questions about that, and hopefully we'll be able to divulge that information to the public once we've gone through our process. I would think that we're going to try to have this thing wrapped up within the next week or two, because we're going to be closing out the year and everybody's going to be gone, and then September we're going to be dealing with this again. So hopefully we can, something we can remove off our plate sooner rather than later.
Okay, and I have one other comment, just when I meeting with the athletic director. We have certain sports that we develop in the recreation program that kids are actively participating in, and I may be ignorant of this, I didn't think there was a volleyball program, but we're expanding the volleyball program to be freshmen, to be 3 tiers. When there are other sports that we develop kids through on a regular basis in the recreation programs in town, we can travel and regular, recreation sports programs that are being eliminated. So I just wanted to make that comment. It was surprising to me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I know that we talked a little bit about the feeder programs. I know that that's not the only thing that directs what happens at the high school level. If children and students have common interest in doing other things and they bring it to, whether it be the athletics director or another department, similar to like journalism, that was something that kind of left, came back, and it seems to be taking flight again. So we want to try to make those accommodations, and sometimes it may not be just as a direct result from a feeder program, but it may be just as a result of students stepping forward and saying, look, can we do something like this because there is an interest that expands large enough to have the program.
Thank you.
Anyone else looking to speak to the board? Okay, seeing none. Whereas the Board of Education will be discussing matters except for public discussion. Oops, sorry. Moving on. Okay, any old business to come before the board? Any new business? Whereas the Board of Education will be discussing matters except for public discussion pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Education recess to close executive session at this time to discuss student matters, personnel, and property acquisition. Be it further resolved that the results of the discussion will be made public by inclusion on the agenda of the subsequent meeting of the Board of Education, and when the reasons for discussing such matters in closed session no longer exist. Do we need a motion to go to closed? All in favor? Thank you. Thank you, everyone.